All right, in this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be chatting with an individual who competes at BKFC Prospect Series 1, and that goes down on August the 24th. We have Leonardo Perdomo stepping into the ring as Ryan Shough, and great getting to have Ryan on the show for the first time. How are you doing there, man?
I'm fantastic. Just got a nice little hike and about 45-minute mid-session in, feeling great, powerful, ready to swing some fists on Thursday night.
Yeah, I love to hear that, man, and just curious, just being that you're 1-0 in BKFC, like what would you say some of the biggest differences are, like in your approach leading into this sophomore effort as compared to like where you were at in terms of your skills heading into that initial BKFC fight in July of last year?
After that fight in July, I locked in. All I train for now is bare knuckle. That's all I think about. That's eat, breathe, sleep, bare knuckle. My girlfriend told me the other day I needed to turn down the intensity a little bit, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm getting ready for war on Thursday. Like, I can't turn it down. Got to get ready for violence. And, but we've just been completely concentrating on, clinch and just fist and footwork and head movement and all that,
Yeah, no, that is interesting to hear, though, just being that your last combat sports bout overall was in mixed martial arts. So interesting to hear that you're, like, prioritizing the bare knuckle more so going forward.
That, honestly, leading up until the bare knuckle fight, I still was even just sparring MMA and stuff, and now, it's all I do is fight, bare knuckle rule set, and just getting ready for that. That's all I care about right now. I have an eye on the prize.
Yeah, and is that, I guess, focus just rooted in, like, the growth of the sport and just really seeing, like, a certain long-term path there? Like, is it kind of that confluence?
Yeah, I truly see, kind of that. I would hope that, especially after my performance this coming up Thursday, that they see me as a fighter they can sign, for, some kind of fight contract and, actually be a real, full-time bare-knuckle fighter. Like, I would love to be able to fight, 3 to 4 times a year. This year layoff, killed me, had me going crazy. That's another thing, too. Like, with that being said, I've only been training, bare knuckle for bare knuckle. So when MMA offers, came up and such, I had to deny them and told them, I'm waiting for bare knuckle. Sorry, guys, got my eye on the prize. It's just, that's all I wanted to concentrate on, tunnel vision.
Yeah, it seems like you have wanted to return to the sport because I was seeing that circa March there, you were supposed to fight Zach Kalmas and had to withdraw from BKFC 39 there. Like, what was going on there? Was it like an injury sort of reasoning for pulling out? Or
I had a surgery actually in February, and I reached out, just telling him, like, after I had watched Kalmas's fight, I think that, in March or something like that, he fought, like, I can't remember who he fought, but he had fought that night, and I had messaged Nate Shough after the fight, and I was like, I would love to fight Kalmas. And he was like, we would love that too. And I didn't realize, I was still kind of recovering from the surgery, but I was in camp, still training and stuff, but I wasn't, full go yet. I hadn't had doctor's orders to be released, for full-on sparring and all that. When I think they set it up because they were that excited about the fight. So I'm hoping, we get that fight back. That's definitely the name. If I knock out Leonardo, Perdomo Thursday night, Zach Kalmas is going to be coming out my mouth for sure. Nothing against him. I'm actually a big fan, truly. Like, I am a fan of the man. I just truly think we would put on, fireworks, fight of the year kind of fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone who's
not looking ahead too far, definitely Perdomo's on the radar first, but that's future plans.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, man. Focused on this next one for sure. And we were kind of talking about your MMA experience a bit before and just nearly a dozen fights across amateur and pro there, at least per Tapology. And you're talking about, like, making the focus more so on bare knuckle now. So I guess what does that look like? Like, obviously the grappling and leg kicks and some of those facets are, subverted from the camp. But just how different does, like, bare knuckle preparations and kind of pursuing that path look as compared to maybe how you curated your camps for MMA fights?
The especially this camp, I implemented going out to the local forest area, hiking area, and running up, just running and putting in the road work and really working on that explosiveness. With it only being 2-minute rounds, you got to really have that explosiveness and just be able to go for 10 minutes straight. Where in MMA, you can kind of wrestle and, take a break. Bare knuckle, there is no breaks, or at least I don't want to fight with no breaks. I want to be able to throw punches, for 10 minutes straight, pedal to the metal, as hard and as fast as I can go for 10 minutes straight, But with that being said, too, I've been punching trees, just if I run past a tree already and look like you're talking shit, and, just start punching on the tree, and that kind of, training, getting the knuckles harder, because that was, my hands were definitely a little sore after the last fight, but I think, I've prepped enough with that knowledge, just on even just bare knuckle punching the bag, stuff like that. And then really just instead of the wrestling, and we do 15 rounds straight of boxing style with the clinch work, of boxing, and then I'll do 5 rounds of mitts of just power afterwards. I've puked, I think 8 times this camp. About every time we've pushed, to do a fight simulation, I push myself to break in tears and throwing up. I definitely we've got the eye on the prize and determination on this one.
Yeah, it seems like the focus is very much there for sure, and it just seems like the MMA base just pays such dividends for MMA guys crossing over into the sport. I've talked to different bare knuckle fighters who they'll be fighting someone who most of their experience is under Queensbury rules, and they'll grab the back of their neck, and you can just tell the muscle memory isn't there, almost the competitive familiarity of someone just kind of grabbing the back of your neck. Yeah,
dirty wrestling, I'm going to really try to implement that.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems like you've been able to get in some great work over the years at Ohio Fitness and martial arts. Would you say that's the primary space you've honed your skills at over the years? It seems like it's a space you've been at for a good while.
Absolutely, yeah, yep. Scott Sheely and Peyton Rose is, I'm kind of like their Frankenstein. Those two have kind of created me and turned me into the monster and animal that I am today.
Yeah, no, it's just cool, man. I mean, I was seeing you had a 10-year challenge there where it was almost like you were still training from the same space, which is kind of why I asked. But it was just sort of an interesting, it's just an interesting one though, where, I was just talking about just how much it was a life-changing thing for you, just losing 60 some odd pounds, and then apparently you lost another 60 to 70 pounds and whatnot. So yeah.
I've lost about 100 completely. When I get down to fight weight, it's where 100, because I was up to 365 when I first joined the gym, and it definitely fighting changed my life and saved my life truly. And even today, that's why the year layoff kind of about 6 months you start going crazy as a fighter. What am I doing this for? Why am I still? Because even when I'm not in fight camp, I'm in fight camp. I'm still pushing myself to throw up on random Thursday nights. And just stuff like that. You got to when you want to be the best, you gotta push yourself to be the best. And
yeah, I mean that
limits.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Superman nickname shining through, and even just losing the weight there. I mean, that's kind of crazy.
The Superman nickname definitely was something that the early amateur career, the family and all that. The whole family showed up one night wearing Superman shirts. And just because they knew I was wearing a tank top to walk out in, and then that's kind of where the name, it formed from there and stuck. But I've been trying to get away from it, but it's one of those things, if it sticks, it sticks.
So you're trying to find another moniker almost?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really care about a nickname anymore, just as long as they know Paul Shough, that's what's important. Connor, I guess Connor does have Notorious, but, he doesn't, Mike Perry is Mike Perry. He is platinum, but Mike Perry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's. I want to be a household. Paul Shough, is a household name. That's the goal, baby. Gives me goosebumps.
I guess just
Mike Perry, is definitely with Leonardo Perdomo's boxing credentials. His 189 amateur boxing matches definitely is something that I heard, and you got to look into. You have to know. I'm definitely we're going to have a fight Thursday night, but that's one of those things. Mike Perry's proven it over and over that as long as you got that dog in you, that dog can perform, and let's fight.
And you touched on it very well there. Like, it seems like as much as both of you guys have that 1-0 BKFC record so far, like, your background is more MMA and his seems to be more gloved boxing, and obviously it's a brand new sport at the end of the day, but does it almost like boil down to that in a certain sense? Like, maybe it would behoove you to like, fight at range, or fight rather like in the infighting and kind of have the close quarters, like active clinch fighting, whereas it might behoove him to like fight at range and use more of a normative boxing approach, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say, I think, when it comes down to bare knuckle and boxing, they're completely two different sports. And same with, MMA and boxing, or bare knuckle because of the wrestling port. But with, you can turn it into more of a, just dog fight than a normal what boxing match could be. And that's what I plan on doing.
And just curious to get your thoughts on being part of, what's ultimately an inaugural event, just their first installment of the Prospect Series, and just kind of creating that framework where it's like whoever has the most impressive show out eventually gets that like regular, main roster kind of contract. Like, does it feel cool to kind of be a part of like a kickoff event of this type?
It is pretty exciting. There was some confusion leading up to actually just this Thursday when I signed the contract and everything, but about what night we were actually going to be fighting, whether it was going to be Friday or Thursday. So I'm excited to be there, and just represent the bare knuckle brand and all that, and especially for it being the first show. I hope we can bring some fireworks and get people watching and people excited about it, and I hope it's a big bang.
Yeah, I would just think the framework would lend itself well to, I guess, like what you bring to the table, just being that it's based on like who has like a big standout performance and they get, the contract opportunity thereafter. Just being that you're a heavyweight and very like finish centric from what I could tell, like you would think that a formula, or rather a format like this would, be right up your alley.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, and hopefully, with the Prospect Series too, have a great performance. That means, they'll invest in me. That's what I'm hoping. Like I said, I want to be a household name. I want to be going commercials, all of that. So that's kind of why I wanted to fight Calmus, because I feel like he has everything I want, and
Yeah, I mean, that would be an intriguing fight for sure. He's a very exciting fighter, but you had a very exciting fight against someone. I mean, it was albeit in gloved boxing, but I thought it was cool that you got to get in there with Alan Belcher at one point. I saw you had the post like talking about the beautiful violence you guys shared and how it was an honor, but at the same time it's like
it really was. And just that's another, I truly how I said there's levels in the sport. Before my last bare knuckle fight, that fight was a leveling up. Even though I lost, I leveled up that fight. Sharing 2 rounds with, he was the bare knuckle heavyweight champion of the world, so that at this moment, in time, he was the best heavyweight on the planet, or close to, up there at least. And I shared, I think 2.5 rounds with him, and he did drop me 3 times, but in Mississippi rules, it was because, the 3 knockdown rule, but he didn't knock me out, he just knocked me down. So that's where the level up, and I know what I got to do to get to that level, and I've been doing it, and I hope it shows. And also, I got a new job in December. I started working for Dinger's Furniture in Belfountain, and I deliver furniture throughout the week, and picking up couches and washers and dryers every day. My body's changed a little bit.
Yeah, and to the point of the Belcher fight too, like it seems like a fight that you could see happening down the line too. Like you're like, oh, let me get a few more fist fights under my belt, and I believe one day we'll run it back without gloves. So definitely interesting.
Yes, that's that. That especially with him winning the title, as soon as I was 1-0, like let's get 3 more, let's go, let's get 4-0, we're calling out Belcher, like let's get that belt, like I want that back. That's the goal. I want a run. Let's finish Leonardo, and then give me someone else, and let's get that belt, or at least get a scrap for it, because I've already fought the best. So.
Yeah, and it could work out too, because I felt like a few times throughout this chat you've been talking about like, oh, it's been a while since I got out there to fight. I've been getting a little antsy. Like if you get your ideal outcome here and secure that contract, one would imagine they'd be, getting you to work right away. So is that kind of another cool part of this potentially, whereby you could have that like strength of schedule you want? And yeah,
honestly, if let's say Thursday night goes absolutely, a dream. I land, a beautiful right hand. He runs into it, falls down, doesn't get back up, and I leave that, the squared circle unscathed. I'd be down to fight Friday night. If that's a thing. Like if there's a heavyweight in the audience that wants to scrap, let's fucking do it. Let's do it Friday night. I want to be on both shows. Let's go.
That'd be pretty cool. Make a little bare knuckle history there almost. Well, I guess in BKB they have like the one night tournament sometimes, but I feel like you don't see that as much domestically in North America.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I know that one UFC fighter just did the back-to-back weeks or something like that, but back-to-back nights, that'd be pretty awesome. And going from the Prospect Series back to the big show, I'm pretty sure the Prospect Series is going to be a big show, but it definitely. It didn't feel like a de-promotion, but it definitely kind of felt like, oh man, I thought I already proved that I deserve to be on the big show, because I felt like my first fight was definitely a great performance, and I did everything perfect, and hopefully I do the exact same.
Yeah, I get the sentiment you're saying, man. I feel like Prospect Series is like a good show in its own regard, but the BKFC heavyweight division seems like one of those weight categories they've been really putting a lot into, so I get why you would want to vault up there and kind of mix it up with those guys too. So I get what you're saying.
Absolutely. Especially with already, I've like we said, I've been in the ring with Belcher, so I feel like I deserve the, I especially with being 1-0 now, I'm ready to mix it up. That's why Thomas, and let's go with Leonardo. Like let's go. I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, I think anyone that's been following what you've been doing is excited too, and very much shares in that sentiment, man, and very much looking forward to this fight on August 24th, but just in being mindful of your time, man, I'm curious if maybe there's like a final parting thought you'd want to add as we're sort of wrapping up here, Ryan.
What was that? Sorry, my phone cut out on me.
Oh, no worries. I was just wondering if there's like any final parting thought you might want to add as we're sort of wrapping up.
I'm happy to be here, and I'm excited, to show the world how great I am, truly, and how hard I've been working.
Yeah, very excited to see that in this next fight against Leonardo Perdomo, and BKFC Prospect Series 1 should be a great kickoff for, this dynamic and everything like that, and just, I love seeing the Prospect Series dynamics, and kind of articulates the growth of bare knuckle overall, the fact that this circuit exists now. And like I was saying before, definitely excited for August 24th, man, but until then, you have a good rest of your day, and thanks so much for the time.
I actually have one more that's with the Prospect Series too. My corner man Peyton Rose, I plan on as long as everything goes well Thursday night, I want to introduce him to Dave Feldman and Nate Shough, and see if we can open that door to get him on the next one. That's another goal as well. So.
Well, that's a cool thing to mention, too, because as much as you're looking to grow in what you're doing, you're also looking out for others and their growth. So I love to hear that.
And we've been, like I said before, I'm his Frankenstein, and, he has to battle his creation every time we spar, so, yeah. He's truly at the same level I am, and I think he could do great things in the sport of bare knuckle, so I really hope to get him in.
Yeah, well, exciting possibilities seemingly abounding here, and definitely excited for when all this goes down later in the week, and just even in saying that, thank you for making the time to, talk so close to the fight, just with it being fight week and all, so, thanks so much, man, and, you have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
You too, man. Thank you so much.